Weird.
Yeah, I know. This first time we haven't had... I guess we'll just have to... We'll read the chat to you is what we'll do. We've got kind of a teleprompter in front of us so we can actually... but if they stay the power... If NASA stays in charge... Right now, let's be frank, NASA's the world leader in space travel.
Yes.
They are the 2 billion pound gorilla.
Yes.
And I have no problem with us going either direction.
Right.
I mean, they can stay the leader, but they need to have the funding to do that.
Right.
Or they can go away.
Yeah.
And let the privatize, because if what I'm saying is true, and there actually is money to be made in space, the private sector will find ways to make money.
Oh, for sure.
So those are the two things I think. Now, if we just leave the status quo, it's just, nothing's going to get done on either side. We've spent the last 30 years in low Earth orbit without going back to the moon or onto Mars. So if we leave things as the status quo, we'll spend another 30 years in low Earth orbit without actually moving forward. I'm sick of low Earth orbit. It's time to move on, right?
Right.
So anyhow, Obama, I kind of got off track there, but Obama taking out of NASA, giving it to education, and he's been very upfront and straightforward on that. Now, McCain and Clinton, they kind of play politics a little bit more. They try to give you the warm fuzzy, but when you read into it a little bit, you kind of go, huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Clinton has basically said we need to bring back science, and we need to get back what we've lost in science by equalizing our manned space flights and our robotic space flight. Now, there are two ways you can look at that. Right now, NASA's very heavily manned space flight. If she's talking about equalizing it, you have to go one direction. You either have to lower the manned space flight budget down to the robotics, or you need to raise robotics up to manned space flight. And when she was pressed on that, it sounds like she wants to do this and kind of bring the manned stuff down and really move to the robotic space flight. And there's some great quotes in that article, the SpaceVidcast.com/politics, and some great links to read up on that. But that was a little bit scary as well, because I really...
If I may, just for a second.
Sure.
Pilot 51 in the chat room is saying that my only fear for further exploration is that sooner or later we're going to lose someone up there.
Of course.
That's kind of the risk we take, though, you know?
Yeah, you know what? A lot of people died trying to find the new world. Exploration is costly, not in just monetary, but in lives too. And I don't want to, play that down. Every life is valuable, obviously.
Oh, for sure.
But these are the risks in advancing humanity. I know that sounds cheesy and corny, but all right, we're gonna try this one more time just to see if this works. All right, we'll leave that up for just a moment, and if it doesn't work, we'll bring it back down.
Ed SG is saying, more people die in car accidents, so maybe we just shouldn't drive.
Right, there are always ways to play the numbers and make it all do different things, but, it's just, people will die. That's the way things work. People will die.
It's unfortunate, don't get me wrong. We're not trying to send people to their death, but we need to figure out what's going on up there. We need to figure out how to better ourselves to getting there, to getting to the moon, to getting to Mars, to getting beyond all of that. And unfortunately, there are going to be some casualties. But I think the people who train themselves to be in those programs in order to be astronauts are fully aware of that, and they're still willing to do it.
Of course.
We're not yanking people off the street and shoving them up into Never Land. And so I think with that, it's not as terrible as it sounds, if that makes any sense.
So that's Max says that they're scared to run into the Borg.
Borg is in the Delta Quadrant. Oh no.
Yeah, so Pilot 51 actually has a very good point. It's not so much just the fact of death, it's getting through the first death, because let's be frank, it's going to get a lot of press.
Yes.
At which point everyone's going to question, why are we doing this?
Right.
What's the point? And that's when the people that go like this and live their life through blinders and say, we have so many problems here, why are we doing that up there? The people who I call anti-visionaries, they're going to come out of the woodwork, and they're going to try to kill the program any way they can, because they want to funnel that money into things that they feel are more important.
Right.
And of course, until the giant asteroid starts coming towards us, and then they realize, oops. So anyhow, then there's McCain. Now McCain has a really, really feel happy, go lucky stance, which is, I love NASA. Go NASA. Space exploration rules.
He's kind of goofy.
Okay.
He is, just in general. He's just a little goofy.
But the weird thing is, in his statement, he actually says, he goes on for a paragraph, and in that paragraph, effectively...
Sorry.
That is a giant-looking bug.
I know.
Effectively says nothing. Yeah, ew. I want that bug gone. So, he says nothing. It's politics. Yeah, alien bugs. No kidding, Colton. I mean, it's this huge.
I think you killed it.
I know. It's like, I swear to God, it's like this big.
Oh, you guys.
We've got to find a way around that.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah. All right. So that's what
McCain.
That's what McCain didn't say about space travel, and I don't really understand his position on space travel. So that, I think that needs to be researched further. And the point of this is none of these options bode well for NASA at all. So if you're a fan of NASA, this kind of sucks.
Yeah.
So what can we do? In my opinion, it only takes one voice, just one person, to make a difference. And I realize that it may seem like the government is huge, and total, why did you have to paste an entire paragraph? The government is huge and nothing ever happens, but you know what? If you can educate people, if you can make them understand why it's important, if you can get the point across, just one lone voice will turn into two, and two will turn into 4, 6, 8, so forth and so on. And before you'll know it, you'll have a movement on your hands. Not as scary, like zealotorious, whatever. Just people getting passionate about it and saying, no, this isn't right. We need to do something about this. And make sure the candidates themselves understand that this is an issue. And let's be frank, this is a silent issue in this election. The space shuttle's retiring in 2010. We've got nothing after that.
Yeah,
for 5 years, we have nothing.
It's 2008.
We're 2 years. We're a year and a half away from retiring the space shuttles. When we do that, we will have no way for. We don't really have no way, but the U.S. is stopping its ability to really get to the International Space Station, and we're stopping our way to explore. So, it's time to really think about this stuff, because this next president is the one. This is a tipping point right here that we're at. And either we're going to move backwards or we're going to move forward, but we will not stay right where we're at right now. Something will happen in the next year and a half. Like it or not, it has to, because the space shuttle is going away. That won't be stopped. So we're either moving to Constellation with Obama. We'll delay it by 5 years, which means we'll be 10 years without a space vehicle.
That's awful, you guys.
That's amazing.
It's ridiculous.
So really think about this. This is a huge issue for us. For everyone, everyone across the world, in my opinion, and we just need to let the candidates know that, this isn't okay.
Well, and like I've said before,
I'm gonna go read.
A lot of people keep bringing up the concerns about the things that are going on here on Earth. People are in war, people are dying, people are going hungry, all of those things. And I'm not saying that those things don't count. They do. But if we don't get off this rock and it explodes, none of that matters anymore. None of it. And we don't have time to waste to see, maybe something will happen, or maybe something won't happen, or maybe the sun won't go supernova, so we're just not going to worry about that.
The sun won't go supernova.
But you see what I'm saying.
Yeah, of course. It's the same thing that we chant every week. So, I mean, you understand the point, but it comes down to every single person in the chat room, us included.
Yes.
Contact your congressman, congresswoman, contact your senator, contact the people that are in your state that run your government, and let them know that this is an issue, and contact the
NASA?
No, the people running for president, the candidates.
Those people.
Wow. I think we're going to be done soon here.
Woo!
Wow. Total mentioned earlier in a nice little paragraph. One other plan is to freeze all domestic discretionary funding. So, and that's another one where McCain had basically said he wants to freeze this discretionary funding. Man, that's hard to say.
I know.
But also wants to help NASA move forward. Well, you can't do both. Right. So either NASA's going to have an exception to that rule, or they're going to get their funds frozen, and it just doesn't work both ways. Something's going to happen there.